Yeah.
Please start.
Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, Sat Shri Akal, and a very pleasant good evening to everyone. Today, we are very privileged to have this special discussion on the October issue of Aura magazine. And I'm really grateful to Rahmatunnisa ma'am for providing this opportunity to the women of Bihar to discuss on this special issue. Why I'm speaking that this is a special one, because today is Sir Sayyid Day, the birth anniversary of Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan, the pioneer of modern education of India. He was a true advocate of scientific and rational thinking. And today is 17th October, and on this very day, we are here to discuss about a magazine which is versatile in its nature. Actually, there are so many magazines which comes up and there are so many writes up. But when you go through Aura magazine, you can actually feel that this magazine provides platform to women belonging to different groups to display their capabilities and talents. Although women's capacities, talent has always been questioned by men folk. But while going through this magazine, we can understand that women are no more less, and they are excelling in each and every spheres of life. Especially here today, I'm very honored to present before you the expert speakers from Bihar who will show their talent and discuss in depth on various issues. So I welcome each one of you in this session.
Let us first seek Allah's ample blessings on us. So I request Sister Shazia Ehsan for the recitation of Holy Quran. Sister Shazia Ehsan.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all of you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجن من مارج من نار فبأي
The voice has stopped.
I think she got mute.
تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما والطغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. The most merciful taught the Quran, created man, and taught him eloquence. The sun and the moon move by precise calculation, and the stars and trees prostrate. And the heaven he raised and imposed the balance, that you not transgress with the balance, and establish weight in justice, and do not make deficient the balance. And the earth he laid out for the creatures. Therein is fruit and palm trees having sheaths of dates, and grain having husk and scented plants. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? He created man from clay like that of pottery, and that created the jinn from the smokeless flame of fire. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? He is Lord of two sunrises and Lord of two sunsets. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? He released the two seas meeting side by side. Between them is a barrier, so neither of them transgresses. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? From both of them emerged peril and quarrel. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? And to him belonged the ship with sails elevated in the sea like mountains. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? Thank you.
Jazakallah, ma'am. Today we have a panel of experts and they are masters in different fields. So to welcome each one of you in our session today, I would like to request Sister Shaima for the welcome address. Sister Shaima.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and welcome to this wonderful evening, this program which is being hosted by Aura Readers Club, Bihar. And my name is Shaima, as I was introduced. I am the sub-editor of Aura magazine. And so it is a wonderful experience for me to be able to welcome all of you to this program. We are very honored to have with us Chief Editor Aura magazine, Rahmatun Nisa, and all wonderful speakers of today's program who have agreed to join us and give their very valuable comments and reviews, as well as the organizers of this program who have put this wonderful evening together. So as somebody who has been tasked with the welcome address, I thought I would do two things. One is to sort of put out the basics of what the idea behind this program is before we begin, and also the broader idea behind Aura. So Aura e-magazine, as all of you know, I'm sure that you've gone through it for the purposes of this program, was started in March 2021. So it has been more than a year. and it is a monthly digital English language women's magazine. Those are the basic words that sort of encompass what aura means or what aura is. But going beyond that, aura is essentially an attempt to um, challenge very existing or preconceived notions of what is a woman's magazine and what are considered women's issues. Um, so in Aura, we have deliberately tried to go beyond the certain set limits of what women should think about or women should only write about, and try to address vast questions of the world around us, as well as the complexities of our inner selves. So we have work ranging from politics or gender or health, debates around family, debates around the contemporary discourses that are coming up in the world of science, um, and other kind of fields. We'll be looking at debates around religion and faith and how women's lives are interspersed in that, as well as more reflective pieces such as our sections called life lessons, tips, enlightenment by the Quran, those kind of things. And in terms of media, we use different formats, whether it is writing, articles, poetry, videos, audio articles, so on and so forth. So broadly, that is the vision of Aura. And the reason Aura Readers Club is being organized every month is so that there can be a feedback mechanism, a sort of loop where experts from their various disciplines can take a look at these articles and tell us what to do better, can tell us where to improve, can tell us if they liked something. So we also, for example, we have articles on, many of you are doctors, I think, and many of you are from the medical field today. We have specialized articles on health every time, or family, or such medical issues that concern women particularly. Similarly, some of you are researchers in the academic field, and we have such topics, which are emerging from a research background. So by connecting suitable people to suitable topics, we try to get critical reviews each month and therefore improve our magazine, as well as sort of try to expand the community of readers and thinkers and writers that Aura is trying to establish. So I'm very grateful that you have taken out your time today, all of you. Time, and I'm sure you would have spent time reading the magazine as well and taken out time from your professional lives or your personal lives to do that. So I welcome all of you, and rest assured that the Aura team, the chief editor is here, I am here, the editorial board is listening in. We will try our best to incorporate your feedback. And so I encourage you, like I beseech you, to be as open, as frank, as critical as all of you want to be on the content of the magazine, because that's the only way that such initiatives can grow. Thank you so much, and I hope that we all have a wonderful evening today.
Thank you, ma'am. We hope so that we will have a wonderful session today, and truly will have some interesting feedback. It will really envisage the way for future. Our first expert is Dr. Ruchi Rani. Dr. Ruchi Rani is a talented teacher, and a teacher shoulders a great responsibility to build the nation. And Dr. Ruchi Rani is that personality who has been selected through BPSC, and she has been working as an assistant professor in DITE, Bhagalpur district. She is qualified NET, and in 2 subjects she is NET holder. She has also PGDMA from IGNOU. She has completed PhD in English. Earlier, she was posted as a +2 teacher in Godda district, Jharkhand. Today, she is going to take up the topic poverty. I welcome Dr. Ruchi Rani.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. It gives me an immense pleasure to have this session, to oversee this session, and to share my personal interest over this Aura magazine. So very recently, I was introduced to Aura e-magazine, and I have in fact gone through all the articles and write-up of the this October issue. And what is more fascinating about this very journal is that it is being managed, edited, and by a group of very dedicated women, which is the most fascinating thing about this Aura magazine. And all the problems that have been taken seriously, they have been the problems, women's problems, and which all those problems have been manifested under public domain. So that is most interesting part of this magazine. And what is worthy of any e-magazine is that it should uphold principles of equality, justice, which this magazine eventually does. So while going through the varied viewpoints as reflected through this October issue, my attention was grabbed by the write-ups which was on poverty eradication under the category of the world of politics. And the writer, it was written by Tasneem Ataullah. So I must say that writer has taken up a burning issue, and that too a creative move by an error of unequal distribution rather than a decision of fate. So despite all the efforts being made through national and international levels, all the dates and all the days have been celebrated to highlight public concern over poverty eradication. But in spite of that, we still find poverty issues persisting more than ever, particularly in the COVID and post-COVID era. So start with awareness is the key, that dates and days have been already been memorized. Just there is a need of concern to educate the public, to mobilize political support, and to reinforce goodwill. Now, October 17th, which we have gathered today, is really marked as an international day for eradication of poverty, to provide an opportunity to mark the struggle and effort living in poverty, a chance to do good for them. So, as we say that, how will the eradication of poverty will be done? So the prosperous ones, as this it is mentioned in the article of which I am reviewing by Tasneem Ataullah, it has been mentioned that the good ones, who are the prosperous ones, should make deliberate efforts to employ the needy ones. For example, as in the Muslims, there is system of zakat, which means that money is not being concentrated in few hands. It should be decentralized. So what can be done, that it should take place, it should be handed over to the needy ones, and there is need to develop such respect and culture so that every kind of ethical issues should be prevailing around to every nook and corner of the society. And more than just, there is not the demand of the skilled laborer, all those who are unskilled also, they should be getting some sort of job. So the eradication of poverty is the need of system of balance where the wealthy and the needy struggle sustain and enables a healthy society, and thereby no class of a society is unemployed. So then only we can talk of equal justice and non-discrimination, when there is equal opportunities irrespective of caste, creed, gender, and religion to everyone. Now the second thing is that I would like to say that now what is happening in the current scenario is that the richer is getting richer and the poorer is getting poorer day by day. So what we have been witnessing in the post-COVID era is that half of the population in South of Asia and more than a one-third population in the sub-Saharan Africa are living under the poverty era. The number of people living under the international poverty lines for lower and upper middle class income countries is projected to have a hike of percentage of 2.3. So which is very terrible and awful situation in present context. Now, this year's United Nations theme for eradication of poverty is dignity for all. So we are celebrating 17th October as a dignity for all in practice as an umbrella theme for the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty for 2022 and 23. The dignity of human being is not only a fundamental right in itself, but also it constitutes of the fundamental rights right to live, and right to earn his livelihood. So therefore, dignity is not an abstract concept. It should be related to humanity as well, because each and every person respects dignity. Now, we can say that poverty and inequality are inevitable, though they cannot be exchanged as proper concepts. So what we can do is that we can have equal respect, and more especially what I liked about most about this issue under the world of politics subdomain is that the writer has very nicely projected all the concerns over eradication of poverty, but according to me, little bit more about as a suggestion I'm telling that more about the how to eradicate poverty. Some suggestions more should be given. Otherwise, it has been a wonderful issue, and I really congratulate all the write-ups. I have gone through the other write-ups as well. They are really marvelous, and especially all the women are doing very really very good. And I'm really overwhelmed that I got this opportunity to speak over this Aura magazine, Readers Club Bihar, and it's my privilege to be associated with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am.
Thank you.
We will really take up your suggestion or recommendation of more things how to take up this challenge of poverty. This was your suggestion. We are going to look for more recommendations. Thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ragini Sinha. Ragini Sinha is a renowned and reputed doctor of Darbhanga, Bihar. She is a pioneer of radiology in Darbhanga. I mean, one of the very first doctors who introduced radiology technique in Darbhanga. Dr. Sinha is practicing along with her husband, and her diagnostic centers is considered one of the best in Darbhanga for the accurate results. Earlier, she was appointed as assistant professor, but she quit her job to take up dedicated service at the center. She is a very versatile lady, a caring mother, and an enthusiastic citizen. Today, she will discuss how to be calm in a storm. Dr. Ragini.
Thank you, ma'am. I feel honored and privileged to be invited here to present my review on being calm on storm. This is a very important topic. No matter what we do, if we are not able to maintain our calm and cool, we cannot succeed. Stop trying to calm the storm. Calm yourself and the storm goes. Mahatma Gandhi has said, dignity of human nature requires that we must face the storms of life. Times of great calamity and confusion have been productive for the greatest minds. The purest ore you get in the hottest furnace, and no one could have crossed the ocean if he could have managed to get off the ship in the storm. Now, what is storm? Well, storm in the natural way, we can assess a condition of atmospheric chaos. And for us, in the human being, it is a chaos in the internal milieu of the individual. Now, what is the anatomy of this chaos? Well, there are three structures in human brain: thalamus, amygdala, and the neocortex. These three, the interplay between these three are responsible for all the chaos that we encounter. All the sensory stimuli that we receive, they pass via the thalamus, first to amygdala. Amygdala is a part of the primitive brain where there is no logical reasoning, only you get emotions and memory to be encased. Here in the amygdala, the sensory stimuli which reach, they reach as such without any cognitive guidance. A part of the stimuli, they reach the neocortex. In the neocortex, there are several centers which condition the stimuli. When there is a condition when the stimuli, they are of greater intensity, they boycott the pathway or the route to the neocortex and they directly reach the amygdala. In that condition, the amygdala, the emotion centers in the amygdala, they precipitate it, they activate it, and they order the adrenal gland in the body. Now, come on, secrete catecholamines. These catecholamines, what do? these reach the bloodstream and the different target organs. What are they? The liver. Here, the glycogen in the liver is converted to glucose. Why? Because now our body is facing a crisis, and this crisis must be met with increased energy, and that can be provided by glucose. So adrenal has gone to liver, glycogen has been mobilized, glucose has been produced, and this is metabolized to produce energy. Apart from that, this adrenaline, it causes an increased sympathetic drive. This sympathetic drive is manifested as increased heart rate, increased respiratory rate, there's profuse sweating, and then there is a condition which is called as amygdala hijack. There is a profuse amygdala hijack resulting in an emotional storm, and the amount of energy ultimately released is enough to drive the person mad, and he can commit anything. You might have heard of mothers killing the children in rage. You might have heard of people jumping off the roof. What is the cause? It is a condition of amygdala hijack that occurs in conditions of immense stress or immense anger. Now, how does this anger culminate? The anger, this culminates from pent up emotions. Either the person has been scorned, the person has been cheated, there is a fear, the feeling of fear in that person. All these pent up emotions, they get manifested as anger, and this anger is manifested in a very bad manner by the amygdala. Now, all these emotions, as Samreen has rightly pointed out in the article, all these emotions, they have a drama only lasting for a period of 90 seconds. If this period of 90 seconds is bypassed anyhow, the person is able to control his emotions, and this type of storm will not take place, and he'll be calm. The other thing is that if the person, there are stimuli reaching the neocortex, here in the neocortex, you get the conditioning of the stimuli. These conditioned stimuli, then they pass to the amygdala. So the response now, it is under cognitive guidance, and it is a graded response. And the person responds in a calm manner to the same stimuli. So we have got to do two things. First, to check the amygdala hijack in the first instance. Second, to improve on the emotional guidance, the guidance of the cognitive guidance of the emotions that reach the neocortex. Now, first coming to the amygdala hijack. How can we do that? It is a period of 90 seconds that matters. This 90 seconds can be boycotted by moving away from the site of the stimuli. Second, by distracting oneself, like we can take to driving. Third, there's a psychiatrist, Redford William. He's in Duke University, and he has said that the moment these things they start reaching you, or you have faced one such storm, you write down the hostile and cynical thoughts that reach your mind, and when subsequently you are exposed to a similar stimuli, you are able to challenge them. This is a method of self-awareness which will help us control and enable us to remain calm amidst storm. Now coming to the neocortex, I have said by improving the emotional response in the neocortex, we can make ourselves emotionally intelligent. In other words, we are going to improve our emotional quotient. In still other words, we are going to remain in harmony with ourselves and with others in the surrounding. So this concept of emotional quotient was raised by Dr. Daniel Goleman in 1995. And in fact, if a person is successful, it is this emotional quotient that matters a lot. There is another quotient with each individual that is inborn, and that is called intelligent quotient. This intelligent quotient, it cannot be increased, whereas the emotional quotient, it can be improved upon by self-introspection. What are the things you do? First is keep yourself busy. By keeping yourself busy, you are able to reduce the arousal caused by the adrenal surge. Second, you comprehend what is the amount of price you're going to pay for any such storm. You feel it on your body. Now, we have heard of businessmen, they die very young. Why? Because they're not able to manage such worries. They're not able to manage their anger. They have to manage such a big establishment and they are not able to manage their anger, then they die very young. And it will not be wrong to say we get stomach ulcers, not by what we eat, but what is eating us. Stomach ulcers are aggravated by the hills and valleys of our emotions. But we can control the hills and valleys of emotion by activating the neocortex. What are the methods by which we can forego these? By recreation, by relaxation. The healthiest relaxation and recreation, according to me, and as I feel everyone will feel it, is a healthy religion, listening music, a good amount of sleep, and always trying to look to the funny side of life. What will it have its effect on our quality of life? We'll have a very peaceful life, and this is what we want ultimately. Now, the second thing, we should look into the formula that yes, supposing we are going to construct a road and we have been given a period of 7 days, we have given our best efforts in constructing that road, and it is almost completed. And by the end of the week, there is incessant downpour, and the road is destroyed. There are two ways in which we can react. First is fret and fume, get angry, kill ourselves emotionally, expose ourselves to amygdala hijack. This is one way. The second way is accept the worst, improve on it, and don't fret. So, according to William H. Carrier, we must accept the worst. We must be ready to accept the worst, improve on it. This can only be done by self-introspection, and it is again here that the neocortex helps. And a person who is able to do so is emotionally intelligent, definitely. The third is accepting following the magical law of averages. What is that? Every incident has a record. We look into the record. To what extent the worry I am having is likely going to happen? If we look into it, we see in most of the cases it does not happen. So this introspection helps us to abate the emotional trauma through which we pass, isn't it? Now, we must think one thing, that life is too short to be little. So we must not ponder over little termites which ruin our life. We must always forego and look into the brighter sides. If for a positive gain we have to choose two things, we should look for the gain which is going to last long rather than what we have lost in the immediate vicinity. Okay? Then there are certain things, there's problems have been coming up for people. They have been pondering over the events which have occurred in the past, regretting over them. What is the use? We should shut the iron doors on the past. We should not sow the sawdust. What will we get up to? This type of introspection is again going to help us. We should get up in the morning. We should ask ourselves, do I tend to put off living in the present and ponder over what is going to happen in the future? To yearn for some magical rose garden over the horizon? Do I embitter the present by regretting things that happened in the past that are over and done with? Do I get up in the morning to seize the day, to make the best out of 24 hours? Can I get more out of the day by living in a day-tight compartment? I think, lastly, we should ask ourselves, when shall I start to do this? Well, the answers can be next week, tomorrow, today. Yes, definitely. The endeavor should begin today and now, because being calm in storm is the only way of a good quality life. This article of Samreen Fatma really stirred my concerns, and I thought, no, I must elaborate on it, taking the neuroanatomy in its part. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ragini, ma'am, for throwing light on neurotomy, because this medical glitch was something we were quite unaware of it, and you really threw some very important points on it. Thank you so much for your review. We hope that 90 seconds of our life can really be controlled. And if we can control anyone's 90 seconds of that stimuli, we can really save lives. Thank you for that great information. Our next expert is Dr. Shagufta Parveen. Dr. Shagufta Parveen is a gem of Bihar who was educated from the prestigious Aligarh Muslim University. And I think today Shagufta Appa will be very privileged on Sir Sayyid Day. She got the opportunity to speak. And alumni from AMU always look for this special day. Okay, and Dr. Shagufta, after completing her MBBS and diploma in Ops and Gynae, she went to UK, and there she has been practicing in general practice, which she is really passionate about. She says that she thinks that Allah has especially bestowed her with this privilege to serve His people. And following her footsteps, her daughter is also being educated from Cambridge. She has also taken medicine. So today we have Dr. Shagufta Parveen as our next speaker, who will be taking another sensitive issue on suicide.
Thank you, Fatma. Thank you for that introduction. And yes, I am absolutely thrilled. I hope you all can hear me. I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of the panel today. And yes, it is a very special day for me. I have been listening to the Tarana all morning. So the AMU Tarana, and I've been making my daughters listen to it as well. So thank you once again for asking me to share my knowledge with everyone on this platform today. I truly feel privileged to have been given this opportunity. It's heartwarming. It's really heartwarming to see such strong, talented women come together to bring about change, the much needed change, actually. I must congratulate the author of the article, Suicide Prevention, Know the Science, for an extremely informative and easy read. The topic is really, really sensitive and heavy, but the article itself is very good read. It's very relevant with some startling facts and has some very good advice for everyone. Ms. Sana has rightly pointed out in the article that depression is the commonest cause of suicide. So today I'm going to talk a bit about depression and try and give a general overview. I would like to point out at the outset that I'm not an expert on mental health. Whatever information I will give you today is based on my experiences with patients suffering from mental illness and my knowledge gained through reading and learning every day. Down the ages, mental illness in India has sadly been looked down upon and ignored. There is still a huge stigma around it. Acceptance is often replaced by religious rituals, name calling, and victim blaming. People lack understanding and knowledge of mental disorders. They are unaware of the biological basis of mood disorders. They are unable to pick on the subtle signs of depression, which present early in the disease. And because of this delay, the disease progresses into full-blown crisis, which can even have fatal outcomes. According to the WHO report, India has the highest number of depressed individuals in the world. This means that 1 in 3 people in India are depressed. 1 in 7 18 to 24-year-olds are affected by it. These are shocking statistics. Sadly, the pandemic has worsened this situation, with people losing livelihoods and loved ones. The National Mental Health Survey in India in 2015 and 2016 by the Ministry of Health and Welfare shows that the rates of depression are higher in women compared to men across all ages. The difference reaches its peak in the age group 40 to 49. Now, this could be because of various factors: social changes in the structure of the family, with children leaving home for education or job opportunities, ill health, loss of a spouse, relationship breakdown. So what is depression? It starts as sadness, then I feel myself shutting down, becoming less capable of coping. Eventually, I feel numb and empty. These are not my words. These are the words of a patient suffering from depression. They have very eloquently described all the emotions they have been going through. Depression is low mood that lasts for a long time, more than a few weeks, and affects everyday life. When the symptoms are mild, it just means that you are low in spirits. It does not stop you from leading a normal life, but makes things harder to do because you lack motivations. It makes things less enjoyable. But at its severe, depression is life-threatening because it makes the person feel suicidal. We all have times when life is tough and our mood is low. We feel sad and miserable. This could be because of a situation that we are faced with, or we've had some bad news, but these feelings are transient and pass away with time. But if these feelings are interfering with your everyday life and do not go away, and they keep coming back every couple of weeks and stay for a few days, then this could be a sign of depression. So what causes depression? Well, there are several ideas that cause depression. It can vary between people. For some people, there's a combination of factors. For some people, there's absolutely no reason for why they feel depressed. So some of the possible causes which Sana has mentioned in her article are adverse childhood experiences, physical, emotional, sexual abuse, neglect, bereavement, unstable family situations, life events like losing a loved one, losing a job, relationship problems, people who suffer from other mental health problems like anxiety, post-traumatic stress, people who have chronic health conditions which are not well controlled, they seem to have a high incidence of depression. And there's a genetic inheritance as well. Research has shown that if you have a close relative with depression, then your chances of getting depression are slightly increased. Certain medication can have side effects as depression. People taking recreational drugs have a high incidence, drinking alcohol, poor sleep, poor exercise, poor diet, they're all linked with depression. Now, there are some specific kinds of depression that you need to be aware of. And so there's one called seasonal affective disorder. This is experiencing depressive symptoms at a particular time of the year. Like in the UK, we see depression is more common in the winter months because we have really dark, long nights and short days with minimal sunshine. Dysthymia is continuous mild depression that lasts for more than 2 years. Prenatal depression is depression during pregnancy, and postnatal depression is depression after birth within the first year. So what are the symptoms of depression? Sana has mentioned them in the article and they are very relevant. So the symptoms vary from person to person, and it could be that they're just feeling upset to feeling psychotic or even suicidal. So some common symptoms are feeling sad, tearful, restless, agitated, irritable, having a feeling of worthlessness, feeling guilty, keeping yourself isolated, being unable to relate and talk to people, finding no pleasure in life, lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, feeling hopeless, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, eating too much, eating too little, self-harming. These are all the telltale signs of depression. If any of you find that your loved one is experiencing any such thing, please speak to them, ask them, because you could make all that difference. People complaining of physical aches and pains with no obvious cause for these are all signs of depression. Some people with severe depression may also experience psychotic symptoms. I need to stress upon this because in India, This is given a completely different angle. And by psychotic symptoms, I mean they are experiencing delusions or hallucinations. So what is a delusion? Delusion is a firm, fixed belief. It's false. The belief is completely false. So people, they might think that the government is trying to control their every move through the radio, through the 5G, there's no evidence of this. This is completely wrong. But in that person's head, they believe that this is true and they are being watched. What is hallucination? Hallucination is seeing or hearing things that aren't really there. For that person who's experiencing, it's real, but we know it's not there. So these are the signs of severe depression. Please help them. Hallucination can be tactile or olfactory as well. Tactile means they can feel things, or they can, and olfactory means they can smell things that aren't there. So these are all signs of severe depression. That person needs help. And by help, I mean he needs to see a psychiatrist, not go to, I don't want to take names, but you know where I'm pointing at. I mean, he needs help. What can you do for someone if they are suffering from severe depression? Talk to them, support them. And what can someone who has depressive symptoms do? Talk to somebody, try some meditation, mindfulness, look after your physical health, sleep enough, eat a balanced diet, do regular exercise, try and keep active, look after yourself and practice self-care, love yourself. If you don't, nobody will. So what is available? What treatment is available? Well, there's a wealth of resources on the internet detailing self-help for depression. There are numerous helplines that I found on the internet available in India. People can ring and access help. There's talking therapies, there's medication, there's alternative therapies. Ecotherapy is really helpful, like spending time in nature. Gardening is extremely effective method to improve your mood, reduce stress. And sadly, in India, there's an acute shortage of mental health professionals. There are only 0.07 psychiatrists and 0.12 psychiatric nurses for nearly 100,000 people. There's a lack of resources to offer continuous training of these professionals. The government needs to urgently look into this and make sustainable changes in health policies and improve access to mental health. There needs to be a concerted effort in raising awareness and educating the masses about mental illness and aim at eradicating the associated stigma with it. I will finish by saying that it's time to be open and honest with each other and start these conversations. Please spread the message that it's okay to talk and ask for help if you're feeling low. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shagufta, for expressing your views on this topic. It was really very nice to hear that there are very few neurologists and psychiatrists in our country. We have a huge population, but unfortunately in India, mental illness is not considered as an illness. Here it is just considered that people are just dramatic. They are not considered as worthy to be taken up by the doctors. This is the unfortunate situation. And you have very beautifully expressed everything. Thank you so much. Our next review is Ms. Sara Meenu. She is an engineer. She has completed her BTech in Information Technology and she is pursuing higher education. Right now, from the school days, she was very passionate about leadership. And during the final days of her school, she was school captain also. She is highly motivated and she expressed her views on women empowerment and tries to write motivational write-ups. So today I want to request Ms. Sara Meenu to throw some light on the success stories. There were 3 success stories in this magazine about 3 outstanding girls, Sayyida Falak, Rahmat, and Antim. Miss Sara Minu.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me. And a very warm good morning, good evening, everyone. Today, I'm going to review 3 success stories. Let's start with the first. We often say in a reference to various tasks, what is possible in a day, or you can't do so much in a day. But Rehana Shahjahan, a young woman from Kottayam, Kerala, changed the whole concept of what is possible in a day. She achieved 81 certificates in just 24 hours and created a world record. She has done something in front of the world that everyone is surprised to know. If we calculate it according to the maths, then in 1 hour she got 3 certificates, and that's absolutely recommendable. Coming from a minority community, she has changed herself into a primary lady in India who has made such a pile in research. Rihanna vowed to build success in the land of her own failure. After missing the chance to study MCOM in her dream institution, Jamia Millia Islamia, she took admission in 2 postgraduate courses online. Due to her interest in studies, she has set a world record by obtaining 81 online certificates within 24 hours. Thus, we can conclude from her journey that hard work is the only tool to change ourselves from ordinary to extraordinary. Now let's talk about Sayyida Falak, also known as Golden Girl of Hyderabad. How often are extracurricular activities taken up at schools translate into a successful career? One such decision in school led to Hyderabad Sayyida Falak becoming an international karate champion. She has won 20 national and 22 international championships so far. Falak's journey as a karate player began in 2006 when she secured a silver medal during the inter-school competition. The journey happened to get better and started reaching national and international. Being a sports person, maintaining one's religious identity could be a little tricky. However, she don't feel it as a hindrance in her career. Saida Falak overcomes gender bias, among other challenges, and makes a place for herself in the world of sports. Being a Muslim never stopped her from doing what she wanted to achieve. She gives inspiration to all the girls out there, not only to get into the sports, but also to learn how to defend themselves. It will make you confident, strong, and a disciplined person. During her journey, she also faced lots of negative comments from her friends, relatives, and all the people around her. But she never cared about what people spoke and moved on with her sport. Also, it's very important to keep a track on the calorie intake and eating according to your workout. We need to have carbs, proteins, fiber, fat. If we work according to discipline and perseverance, we can easily achieve our goal. Now let's talk about Antim, how Antim became Pehli. How India's first women world under-20 gold medalist, Panghal, Antim Panghal, was born 4th daughter in a family awaiting a son. A story as impressive as this is an inspiration for all. Haryana wrestler Antim Panghal made history by becoming the first Indian women wrestler to win the under-20 world champion. Coming from a conservative background where her father named her Antim, which means last, had a rather regressive meaning. Being the fourth-born daughter, it meant that her family was not supposed to welcome more female children after her. Shattering the patriarchy, Antim has taken herself to the zenith of the game and shone like a star and with tricolor in her hands. The example of three girls, Rehana Shah Jahan, Saida Falak, and Antim, has brightened the hope of future. The girls from every section could come up with flying colors. The writers have truly emphasized to display the talent of unsung heroes. They have beautifully and precisely written about the talent and achievement of these girls, and I congratulate Aura Magazine for giving space to such stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah Minu, for highlighting these success stories. They are really commendable. Now, our next speaker is Ms. Neha Chaudhary. She has done MA in English and she is from Saharsa district. Right now, she is pursuing PhD in English. In fact, she is a true zealous learner and a very enthusiastic as a teacher. Today, we are fortunate to hear something from another teacher. The next teacher, we had a panel of doctors, then engineers, and now another is a teacher. And I'm sure that today she will be providing a new perspective to this discussion. So I welcome Ms. Neha Chaudhary. Sneha Chaudhary. Ma'am, you are not audible. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the intro. Good evening to all the readers and respected members of Aura Readers Club Bihar. Although I have learned about this magazine before, but in the last few days, as much as I learned about this magazine, I'm very happy to know that this magazine is creates a different and special platform to take the visions, thinking, and voices of women to the heights. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this event. I also read the article on the topic stress management by Gohar Yusuf under the Aura magazine. This article of Gohar Yusuf has well explored the techniques of reducing stress, and I agree and appreciate the thinking and his views about it. He says that, Gohar Yusuf says that sharing things with someone without any hesitation, asking help for when we are needed, and keeping a certain attachment and distance from screen timing, etc. And thus, along with them, I also believe that all these habits are somewhere in the person. Doesn't eliminate problems or stresses, but removes stress to a great extent somehow. Before coming to the stress management, as it is my topic today, I just want to tell something about stress firstly. Stress refers to pressure or worries caused by the problem in person's life. Stress is an automatic physical, mental, and emotional response to a challenging event. As everyone's life is filled with challenges and tests, it is not possible to escape from it completely. Different problems, time limits, and difficulties of modern life has made us so usual that it has become a part of life for the many people. The ability to bear stress differs from individual to individual. While some people seem to succeed in the excitement and challenges of a high stress lifestyle, others fall at the slightest problem or frustration. Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It can come from any event or thought that makes us feel frustrated, angry, and nervous. Stress can also be self-generated. It may occur due to mischievous children, problem in family life, being too busy, inability to accept uncertainty, lack of confidence, unrealistic hopes, etc. Stress affects the mind, body, and behavior in many ways. That is why it becomes essential to handle our stress level effectively to keep ourselves physically and mentally fit. What I am trying to tell you here is that not any situation, not every situation we got used to call stressful is stress. To a significant extent, it is our choice to react to what is going on in our life. It is we who chooses how to behave and what to do. In reality, somehow all situations are neutral and only we are responsible for how we feel about them. So instead of automatically becoming stressed and dissatisfied, we should just be creative, focused, and calm. The ability to bear stress depends on factors like a person's overall outlook of life and his emotional intelligence. And stress management, that is the topic what I am going to deal with. Stress management. Stress management is a process that helps an individual to control stress level by practicing self-care, relaxation, and also impart some techniques to handle stress when it occurs. There are some useful stress management techniques which helps to less stressed, includes regular meditation, practicing deep breathing, maintaining the physical exercise and good nutrition. All of us, we know that meditation is a great way to distract ourselves from the stress of day-to-day life. Deep breathing is also a great way to reduce the activation of our sympathetic nervous system, which controls the body's response to a perceived threat. Physical exercise and good nutrition. I think these are two important components in how we respond to stress. When your body is healthy, your mind can be healthy, and vice versa. We should maintain our physical exercise and good nutrition. I think all we should have a good diet, and we should always do exercise, a regular meditation. And another point I would like to say, we should manage media, social media, and screening timing. As it is also mentioned in the Gohar Yusuf, as it is also mentioned by the Gohar Yusuf in the article given in Aura magazine, it says that spending too much time on social media sites and digital worlds can also become stressful. And last but not the least, we should make healthy connections with others. Like we should create a friendly social network with the peoples. Like sometimes a supportive network of friends, relatives, family members helps to face the challenging situations with stability and less stress. We always consider stress as a negative impression on in our mind, but a certain amount of tension is helpful for triggering a stimulus to overcome the challenging situations. A certain amount of positive stress is vital to enhance our positive energy. On the other hand, negative energy, negative stress, which we call distress, is responsible for all kinds of physical, mental, and behavioral problems. Managing stress is easy somehow if one learns to handle his thoughts, emotions, daily schedule, surroundings, and the way he deals with the problems. Stress management involves challenging or changing the stressful situation when you can, or changing your reaction when you cannot, taking care of yourself, and making time for rest and relaxation. In the Bhagavad Gita, we have read that there is one fact and the lines. Yes, sorry. In the context of stress management, also it helps. It is said that the mind is restless and difficult to regulate. Nevertheless, by practicing karma yoga, one can purify the mind of accumulated to both the deed and the outcome. He loses his preferences and is no longer influenced by stress and dissatisfaction. So Yog Nidra is one of the stress management practice emphasized in ancient Indian scriptures. It is a yogic technique for mind management and incorporates both internal and outward relaxation with the purpose of transcending the physical and mental plans to reach the inner self. Yoga Nidra is like a meditation. It is also a kind of meditation, or we may say it is a meditation. That is why effective stress management is essential to handle our stress level efficiently when it occurs. And at last, only I would like to say that the positive stress can lead to growth, action, and change, but negative long-term stress can lessen our quality of life. So managing stress can help to lead a more balanced, healthier life. I want to close my talk by sharing one of the quote said by Chelsea Ru, that stress acts as an accelerator. It will push you either forward or backward, but you or we choose which direction. But we have to choose which direction. Thus, it's not stress that kills us; it's a reaction to it. Once again, I would like to thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sneha ma'am, for beautifully presenting. Our next speaker is Miss Asma Hajra. I hope she is in the meeting today.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Miss Asma Hajra is engineer by profession. She has completed her BTech in instrumentation. She has also an MBA degree. At present, she is a homemaker, but earlier she was doing job. She is interested in a lot of activities. She is a very skilled and a brilliant person. I take privilege to welcome you in this panel and request you to throw light on a very burning topic, that is nationalism and Islam.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, good evening, all of you. Well, I'll give you my view on nationalism, which is a very hot topic nowadays. I think our author has deliberately chosen this sensitive subject to draw our attention to the today's scenario of what's happening in India on basis of nationalism. Nowadays, it is very easy to label someone, especially from Muslim community, anti-national or sedition charges merely by conflicting of views. If we show some agitation, or if we show some agitation or resistance against them, against the majoritarian or the one in power. For this narrative, I think media is also equally responsible for showing Muslim community in a bad light, making them culprit without any trial. Ranting 24/7, day and night against Muslim, adding fuel to the fire of hatred in Hindu community, and thus widening the spread between two communities. I am saying this with an example. During, if you remember, during Corona times, when it's just started in India in March 2020, I think, the media got the scapegoat in the form of the Jammu, And all the news channel 24/7 were ranting this, and that they are the reason of widespread of this virus. And, uh, uh, and they were humiliated and was treated like a criminal, which was which was untrue. But the impact this accusation had was on the entire Muslim community, especially the daily wage workers. They were not entertained by a majoritarian and were isolated. So see what role can media play, but this subject has not been covered by the author. So this needs to be covered because it's an important subject. What's the role of media in today's world, in today's scenario? And how can we overcome to stop this type of news and spreading and falsely spreading communal disharmony? This needs to be stopped. Well, for more further in the article, author has also drawn our attention on the narrative of nationalism in India is Hindutva nationalism, which I agree totally on this, but he has not elaborated on this further, like how this narrative has arisen and what is the root cause of this narrative. From my understanding and knowledge, this seed is mainly sown partly from history and partly from the world around us. Like if we talk about history, India was ruled by Muslim Mughal invader for more than 200 years, with some section of people as used against us, and also by the fact that India is surrounded by many Gulf countries, which are mainly Islamic countries, and follow Sharia law, is also used against us, because I think we have only one Hindu nation around us, that is Nepal. So India also so they want India also to be a Hindu Rashtra, but they failed to recognize and understand that India is a democratic country and all the people of India have equally contributed for its independence. So basically in India, no one is superior to other. Also, our constitution has given us all equal rights. So you are not lesser than others. So you should be proud of yourself. And in fact, to uplift Dalits and backward classes, we have so many schemes and policies so that all are treated equally and no one is discriminated on the basis of religion, caste, and tribes. So we all should be proud of our country. Indeed, we are, and grateful too. Further in the article, the author has also briefed nationalism and all type of nationalism, but failed to address current situation in India, which should be our primary concern and needs to be addressed. Instead of briefing about nationalism, this is my take. More emphasis should be given how to bridge the gap between two communities, and otherwise, in a long run, it will not only destroy any particular community, but the entire country. Remember the Nazi era, wherein Adolf Hitler beheaded the genocide against one particular community, and see what was the end. We have many such instances like Pharaoh. He wanted to be a god and worshipped by his people. What happened? He too got doomed, and what an horrific end. Still an eye opener and lesson to all of us that no one is superior than the supreme power. Never challenge him. Sooner or later, the wrath surely comes. So always be humble and grounded. So from all this, here is my take that it is very important to understand that every individual from all community plays an important role in building the nation. Especially our country, India, whose beauty and strength lies in unity and diversity, and we should cherish this treasure. And because this is the peculiar trait we have, and no other country holds it. So that with so many diversities, we still can be one, and let's come forward and unite and together to make our country a great one and set an example to others that we are a great nation and we are a great nation. So I would like to end by this quote that united we stand and divided we fall. So that's it. So hope.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really beautiful to hear, and we have noted down your recommendation that role of media should be covered, and especially how to bridge the gap between two communities.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your recommendations. Our next speaker is Dr. Asia Omar. Dr. Asia Omar, are you in the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Asia Omar also hails from Darbhanga. She has completed MBBS and now she is pursuing MD in biochemistry. from Darbhanga Medical College Hospital, and she is also working in Darbhanga Islamia Hospital and Cancer Research Institute. She comes from a family of committed doctors. Today, she is going to discuss non-violence and Islam, another sensational topic. Dr. Asia Umar.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. A faith where the first words that are uttered in a meeting is of peace, mercy, and blessings. It can be easily inferred that the motivation is if you pray for peace for someone, you would do everything to maintain that peace. Islam is not merely a religion, but rather a way of life. A surrender to God's will is the beginning, and keeping this oath strong and steadfast are our intentions and actions. Allah, through His book Quran and His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has guided us to live our lives in a peaceful and just way. A life that is wont to be filled with trials is asked to be lived with patience and integrity. The essence of this beautiful faith is so profoundly reflected by Mahfouza Tarannum in her article titled Non-Violence in Islam. The article begins by describing the relation between a husband and a wife, and I wondered why. Why start with this? Why begin a piece centered on this theme with the description of a married life and people involved in it? And I realized soon enough that it all starts at home. If you wish to know someone thoroughly, ask their immediate family, because in front of society, it's so easy to pull off a persona, to be kind, to act generous, and put on a show. But within the four walls of the house, in front of your family, that act is dropped and the true personality and character is displayed. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ has said in a hadith, the best of you are those who are good to their women. Mahfouza easily explains the Islamic understanding of this relationship. The responsibility of the groom to pay meher and then later ensure that the wife is well provided is not a reflection of superiority of the man in the relationship, but it is a reminder to the man that while Allah did give you a role of responsibility, which on the surface level may be perceived as freedom and power, but in reality was a test and you will be subject to higher scrutiny on the day of judgment. When the relationship is beyond repair, Islam gives the permission to let go of agony and anxiety and choose peace through divorce on an amicable note. To know how Islam preaches non-violence, forgiveness, brotherhood, kinship, you don't have to go too far. The seerah of Prophet, his conduct, his governance, his himself is enough. If the world took time to know this monumental man, they would quickly understand why there are billions of people who repeat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even when one person says it. Before Hijrah, when the Prophet was spreading the truth and the word of Allah to Makkans, the reaction from them was severe, and that is putting it mildly. The oppression and persecution was disheartening and jarring, and even in those tough, painful, extremely threatening situations, the Prophet not once said one ill word back to them. Neither did he push any of his companions to. It was not that he was naive or foolish or thought the world was one happy, good palace. No, he rather wholeheartedly believed in the Rahmah of Ar-Rahman and Rahim. He believed that Allah is turner of hearts and it is just one command from his Lord away, and these very Makkans who torture him today would protect him and the deen. And the histories prove that indeed after 13 years since Hijrah, the whole of Arab Peninsula followed his teaching and took his legacy forward. There are numerous verses in the Quran that commands the believers to be kind and be peacemakers in society. As I previously said, that Islam is a way of life. Allah has taught us through the Quran the importance of peace, righteousness, just in every role of our lives. We live in this world and play different roles that come with their own unique set of responsibilities and expectations. Allah asks us to fulfill these roles and yet ensure that no one is ill-treated. Allah wants us to realize that the true believers are those that come together for the purpose of good, that ensure that the orphans and underprivileged are treated with kindness and their needs are attended to. He wants us to be aware that our neighbor don't sleep with an empty stomach. Most importantly, he demands from us that we set an example of honest, kind human beings for our future generation. And this begins at home. Like my fellow writer has written in the article in the Aura magazine regarding the relationship between children and parents, the Quran says, "We have enjoined man to be kind to his parents. In pain did his mother bear him, and in pain did she give birth to him." The carrying of the child to his weaning is a period of 30 months, and when he is grown to full maturity and reaches the age of 40, he prays, My Lord, dispose me that I may give thanks for the bounty that you have bestowed upon me and my parents, and dispose me that I may do righteous deeds that would please you. And you also make my descendants righteous. I repent to you, and am of those who surrender themselves to you. Islam lays out clear foundation for the social life and societal nature that is expected from Muslims. The real life application of these foundations is exhibited in various forms and degrees throughout history and present. But the best example comes from the governance of Prophet, be it in Medina or after the conquest of Makkah. Allah in the Quran mentions numerous times that ensuring that the rights of underprivileged, orphans, and others are protected in order. In chapter 4, verse 37, Allah says, "And worship Allah and associate not with him, and show kindness to parents and to kindred and orphans and the needy, and to the neighbor that is a kinsman, and the neighbor that is a stranger, and the companion by your side, and the wayfarer, and those whom your right hand possess. Surely Allah loves not the proud and the boastful." In the present time, when with intense globalization, this attitude becomes all the more essential. Where the world strives towards homogeneity, Islam upholds the fact that we are different. We speak and live different culture, but what ties us together is our faith in oneness of Allah, the Prophet, and the message. In chapter 49, verse 13, Allah says, "Human beings, we created you all from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Verily, the noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the most God-fearing of you." Allah is our creator and he knows us through and through. He knows that there will be people that will go astray and disturb the peace and bring instability. There will be people who will oppress the weak and harass the minorities. And Allah warns us of this through Quran. Time and again, whether in the early revelation in Makkah or much later as the Islamic State took its shape, Allah reminded us through his prophet that this attitude of oppression and harassment is disgusting and will only see a bad fate. Allah has said that there is no compulsion in religion, directly putting the extremist ideologies to rest. Perhaps that is the reason that Allah says, "O glorious messenger, invite towards the path of your Lord with strategic wisdom and refined exhortation, and argue with them in a most decent manner. Surely your Lord knows him well who strayed away from his path, and he also knows well the rightly guided." In the end, I leave you with the hope that as Muslims, we read the Quran, understand it, absorb it, and try to live it. The reflection of our faith is us. To the world, Islam is us, and we are representatives of a beautiful faith, and our actions should reflect that. I leave you exactly with what I started with, a prayer. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Truly, these days Jamaat has also started a great journey to Rajul Quran, to just go back to Quran. And of course, Quran is the true, is really showing the true way of life. Islam is a way of life, it is only to be practiced, it is not to be preached. Thank you so much, Dr. Asia Omar, for your valuable words.
Thank you very much for.
Now, our next expert is Miss Shweta Jha. Miss Shweta Jha is basically a student. She is completing masters in English, but she is a very brilliant one and a special one too. Reason why I'm speaking word special for her is that she is very much concerned towards her surroundings and neighborhood. And she is very much thoughtful regarding domestic violence, the issue which in our society finds no importance. Domestic violence is not at all considered as violence. People think that it's a part of men folk to hurt women in the home, whether be daughters, wife, or anyone. But Ms. Shweta was lucky enough to sort one issue in her neighborhood, and now that lady is living a successful life. So kudos to her. And today we are very happy to have such powerful lady. To being a student also, she has done some commendable jobs. So I welcome Ms. Shweta Jha in our midst. And today she is going to take up the topic of women empowerment. Shweta ma'am, you can speak, unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank everyone to giving me this opportunity to say something about women empowerment. Before starting women empowerment, I would like to say my opinion about this magazine. I feel very lucky to be a part of this conference sponsored by Aura Reader Club Bihar. I have read this magazine many times and I saw that this magazine motivates the women of the society through story of success and struggle so that they do not let the and how difficult it is to fight with every situation, such as success story named Antim in a Twisted Hope, Syed Falak, the Golden Girl of Hyderabad, Non-Violence in Family, Freedom of Expression and Attack on Salman Rushdie. According to me, writing is the best weapon to fight from the evils in society. Aura magazine strongly believes that women from the backbone of a family and feels they are very strong workforce of the future. Thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity. Today, my topic is women empowerment. I would like to remind every woman that how commendable we women are. We are powerful until we do not recognize ourselves. If we will not respect ourselves, no one can do anything. If we talk about women empowerment refers to make women more powerful, make them capable of deciding for themselves. The word women empowerment itself implies that women are not powerful enough. They need to be empowered. But according to me, women were never weak. They were made weak by the patriarchal and orthodox people of the society. If we see the history of ancient times, then we find that how powerful women were. The Vedas say man himself is only half or incomplete as long as he does not obtain a wife. According to Vedic teaching and ancient Aryan scriptures, women have been placed at a higher status than men. She has given preferences to men in every field. So much that when giving a boy joint name of God and Goddess is always placed before God, such as Sita Rama, Sita, the wife of Lord Ram, Gauri Shankar, Gauri, the wife of Lord Shiva. We call our country motherland. Motherland is superior to father. In our country, there is a festival to worship woman and boy washes the feet of the girl as a token of great respect known as Kanya Pujan. In the field of education, women were given equal opportunities. They had their own gurukuls, convents. There were highly educated and wise women like Sila Bhattarika and Subhadra, etc. If we talk about Bible, we read whenever you have some time. If you read that, you find that Bible said, if we nevertheless in the Lord woman is not independent of man, nor man of woman, far as woman was made from man. So man is now born of woman, and all things are from God. If we talk about Islam and read Prophet Muhammad views, he explained vital of lives and all that matters for decent living for man and woman without any discrimination. In fact, woman is an embodiment of power and energy. Most of our deities, which represent power in various forms, the Kali, the Durga, the incarnation of power, every woman can be a Kali or Durga. When the time comes, Rani Lakshmi Bai was Durga. Rani Lakshmi Bai was Durga in the battle against British force. Rajia Sultan, the only woman who showed that women were not covered and ended the Parda system. Almost every country, no matter how progressive, has a history of ill-treating women. Now the country is changing. making women strong, giving equal opportunities, right to the women everywhere, whether it's Air Force, Navy. Today we can see that women are waving their flag everywhere, whether it's a doctor, engineer, or be a scientist. Women empowerment cannot be successful if the women in the lower rung of society are not empowered. This is possible with the help of education and our government. If we educate one woman, we educate a family. Government launched several schemes to make India a superpower. This is possible when the women are well educated, safe, and know their rights, such as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme launched by our government, Nari Shakti Puraskar, Mahila Sasakti-karan, and Ujjwala Trafficking Rescue. Women were made weak by the patriarchal conservative ideology of this society, and we were suppressed. This silence of ours encouraged some such demons in the society who are doing big crimes like domestic violence, dowry, crimes like rape, having considered ourselves to be powerful. Why do we forget that whatever the religion may be, the country, but the reality is that the creation of the world is done by a woman. So the one who can the power to make, she can also destroy it. Everyone's body is made of 5 elements. When the one above did not differentiate while making it, then why we do? Thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity to say something about women empowerment. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I cannot hear you, ma'am.
You are mute, Fatima.
I'm not mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Thank you so much, Shweta ma'am. Really, India is a great country where women has always been important, and before every god, Gauri Shankar or Sita Ram, women has been laid importance. Thank you so much. Now it's time for the presidential address. And the chief editor of Aura magazine, Rahmatunnisa ma'am, is the president of today's session, and she is being welcomed for this presidential address. Rahmatunnisa ma'am doesn't need a lot of introduction. She is herself a renowned and reputed figure. Rahmatunnisa ma'am is the captain of Aura magazine, and under her captaincy, this Aura magazine is gaining a lot of popularity. She is a very influential lady who is navigating Jamaat Islami Hind. She was also the chairperson of TUT, the Women, Education and Empowerment Trust, who had launched a national campaign that was freedom from illiteracy, each one teach one. Her meticulous steps towards upliftment of women is really praiseworthy. And today we are fortunate enough to hear something from you. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the introduction, but I think it was too much. Anyway, Assalamu alaikum and good evening, all of you. May the Almighty's peace and blessings be upon all of you. We at Aura, we look forward to 2 important days. One is the previous evening, that is, immediately after the Maghrib prayer, that is by 7, before the first date of each month is the time when we release our magazine. So when the newborn child is brought into and presented to our readers, that is the time that we always look forward to and we feel very happily about. And the second occasion related to Aura that we look forward to, especially I look forward to, is this occasion. Every month we organize Readers Club programs. And this time we have given the opportunity to Bihar. And thank you so much, Bihar, all of you, including Fatma Zafar. You have been a wonderful convener and anchor today.
And everyone, all of you, took it very seriously. And such a wonderful team of reviewers, those who have joined us, there were 8 persons starting from Dr. Ruchi Rani, Dr. Ragini Sinha, Dr. Shagufta Parveen, Sara Meenu, Nehas Chaudhary, Asma Hajra, Dr. Asia Umar, Sweda Shah. One by one, each one was presenting it so well. A big salute to all of you. And you have enriched us, enlightened us, and you have corrected us. And this is really very, very useful for us. And we have noted all the points that you have said regarding your comments. And definitely we will try to incorporate them all. And you can keep sending your feedback again. The very objective of this feedback session is we at Aura believe that no one can attain perfection unless and until we ask people what they feel about something that we have given to them. So there is something called the reader's right. Right to information we talk about, but the readers also have a right to say how, what they want and, what they want to read and whether they are benefiting out of it, whether it is enriching them, whether it is useful to them. Because at the end of the day, we are not doing it for the sake of doing it. Art for art's sake, there is a movement called art for art's sake. But this is not like, publishing a magazine for the sake of publishing it. Actually, the people who have joined, the people who work, the people who contribute, our writers, they are doing it for a cause, to uplift our women, to change the way of thinking of our women and also the society, not just women. So I think more than women, we have many good male readers also, and they also comment and send their feedback. So it's not that, only women have to be changed. Just by changing the way of thinking of women, we cannot bring revolution in our society. Everyone's way of thinking has to be changed. So this is what we are trying, as our sub-editor has already rightly said, our objective is to carve out a space for those voices that have been historically underrepresented or silenced or suppressed. It's not that nobody has a voice. Everyone has voice. But the problem is historically some voices are being oppressed or suppressed or silenced, and they don't get a space to express their views, express their comment, express their opinions. So we want to get rid of that. And also regarding feminine strength, what is the true feminine strength? Is it, your liberty is not in just throwing away your dress, or your liberty is not just, walking at midnight in the street. The country should be safer. It should be a safe place for even a woman to walk at midnight also in the street. But that is not enough for a woman. See, woman should be able to be accepted as woman in society and should be given equal opportunities to express, to become a contributing member of the society. And also there should be more than equality. There should be, just meted out. So what is happening in our society is a woman have to dewomanize herself. She should be, she has to compete with men and prove that she's better than the best man in her figure strength or whatever it is, to be accepted in society. That shouldn't be the case. A woman should be accepted with all her feminine, some people call it weakness, but frailty, thy name is woman. William Shakespeare said, but we don't believe in that. That is a strength, feminine strength, something which she only possesses, woman only possesses, not men. So that is how she should be accepted. That is what we stand for. And, as you all know, it's not a secret that it is coming from the platform of Muslim women. But that doesn't mean that the magazine is working on Muslim women, or the magazine is, associating with only Muslim women. We have non-Muslim writers also. In our review sessions also, we want, women from all religious, religious sections to come and talk about what they feel about the magazine. And we include sections and articles which everyone can benefit. Of course, there are sections which are particularly meant for to educate the Muslim society on what the Quran and the Prophet has taught, really what the religion is about. But at the same time, we have sections which everyone can benefit from. So that is our area. So I feel that, I expect that most of you who have spoken today are good writers also. The way you presented, it looks like the language you all use, it looks like you all can write also. You can contribute definitely. And, it is like we are learning from each other's knowledge and experience. And, so I feel that you have contributed so well. It was like, I have gone through the article 2-3 times. And Shaima must have gone through more times than me. But, now when you were talking about the articles, it was like all the articles were coming alive in front of us. It was, you have given flesh and blood to the articles, and they were coming live in front of us, and they were making more meaning to us. So this is really very, a good experience. You have enriched us. Thank you very much for that. And, let us, I just request all of you to continue supporting by your writing, by criticizing, by giving your feedback, and also taking it to more readers. Let more people benefit from what we have produced. Let us not keep it as our private property. Now the magazine is free of cost. Anyone can access it. Anyone can read it. So please take it to more readers, share with more readers. And once again, I thank all of you, the organizers, Readers Club Bihar, and all the speakers for the wonderful evening that you have given to all of us. May the Almighty bless all of us. Thank you very much. The time is it is 9:10, so I don't want to delay too much on my talk. Hopefully we will join with some other programs under Aura. Very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Today you have really gave a new perspective to feminism. And we are going to understand womanhood, feminism, and liberty with a new perspective. Thank you so much. So to conclude our day, I would once again, I'm here to give the vote of thanks. So Honorable Ramatunasa ma'am, all the enthusiastic reviewers today, experts, distinguished guests, and all the panelists. On behalf of Aura Readers Club Bihar, I propose my vote of thanks to each one of you. First of all, I would like to thank Allah the Merciful for successful completion of today's program. Without a technical glitch, without any kinds of absurdity, we have successfully completed today's session. And we are really thankful to Lord Almighty for his ample blessings. Ramatunasa ma'am, on behalf of Aura Magazine, I'm grateful and thankful to you for giving this opportunity to Bihar to review this October issue. Actually, thankfulness, feeling it and not expressing it, it's simply like that, wrapping a gift and not presenting it. It's something like that. So thankfulness should be expressed. Ramat ma'am, your leadership and your guidance is worthy enough to lead us and tie us in one single string. I would also like to thank all the technical people who were associated with this team, because I think without their support, this could not have been possible. You may wonder that just jumping from the president to the technical people, because I think they are one of the most important persons who were responsible for this program. I immensely thank Jamaat Islami Hind Bihar and Delhi for allowing such discussion and review. I express my thanks to all the staff members for the support and cooperation. An event like this cannot be completed without meticulous preparation or a bird's eye view. It requires a lot of planning. And we have been backed by a very important team who has worked day and night so that this program should be a successful one. I express my thanks to Munawwar ma'am, Zebaish ma'am, Shanaz ma'am, Eram ma'am for the support and everything. I also take this opportunity to thank Sister Shaiba for beautifully initiating the program by her welcome address, and Shazia Ahsan ma'am for melodious and sweet recitation of Holy Quran and the beautiful meaning presented by her. I have chosen at last to thank all the experts and viewers because you were the main center of attraction of today's program. While reading the magazine, things were something else, and by listening to your opinion and view, things came to be in a different way. So, from my bottom of my heart, I thank all the panelists and expert members. Once again, a big thank you to Dr. Ruchi Rani, Dr. Rajesh Sinha, Dr. Shagufta Parveen, Ms. Sara Meenu, Ms. Asma Hajra, Ms. Neha Chaudhary, Ms. Shweta Jha, and Dr. Asia Umar. The way you have expressed your notion, your suggestion, your recommendation is really very, very commendable. And we value each of your opinion. And we were very, very honored to have you all. Last but not the least, my sincere gratitude goes to all the viewers and well-wishers who supported in a rock solid way. You are the real support system and a source of encouragement and motivation. Thank you all for every person who has supported this event. At last, I would like to say, जिस जिससे पथ पर स्नेह मिला उस राही को धन्यवाद.